An unknown desert island. It is more than 200 nautical miles from the nearest Dongluo Island. About 1 foot from the ground on the beach, Hongming was hiding in the sand, a faint yellow light radiating from his body. Under this yellow light, Hongming's body was completely hidden, without a trace of breath. You have to breathe during the Qi training period. The turtle breath gong can only persist for an hour in the ground, and after 2 more incense sticks, if it doesn't come up again, today's hunt will fail again. Hongming felt a little flustered. 15 years of cultivating immortals, Hongming knew that his talent was average, the highest spiritual root potential point was less than 50, and the earth, water and fire were all higher than 30 points, and the talent was nondescript. This time he came out to hunt monsters alone. Hongming made up his mind and spent all the nearly 100 spirit stones accumulated over the years. If this hunt fails again, there will be basically no hope in the future. Thinking like this, the yellow light on Hongming trembled slightly, but fortunately, Hongming's mind was firm and he quickly condensed his breath, and the yellow light continued to stabilize in the room. There was movement on the beach. Among the aquatic plants, a body of more than 10 feet long appeared quickly. This monster has a rough head, its eyes are like copper bells, and the iron armor on its back has a black luster. Hongming felt this scene underground, and it was a joy. Iron-clad crocodile. A middle-level monster beast, which is equivalent to the existence of mid-stage Qi training. It is very famous in the nearby waters. This kind of monster beast is rare in number and extremely difficult to deal with. It has huge teeth and strong bite force. Once bitten by this monster, even the cultivator in the late stage of Qi training will find it difficult to survive. What's even more terrifying is that the scales on the back of this monster beast have a very high defense, and several sieges in the later stage of Qi training are not necessarily able to win in a short time. In addition, this kind of beast hides in the sea when the situation is bad, so few monks hunt this kind of beast. Hongming is the 3rd stage of Qi training. In the early stage of Qi training, the target of hunting is this monster. The iron-clad crocodile came to the beach, looked around, and found no abnormality. A mouth put the sea beast down, and then began to tear it up. To swallow blood is the instinct of monsters. The iron-clad crocodile is huge, and it is very scary to eat. In just 40 breaths, a big fish more than 3 feet long was swallowed by the iron crocodile. After eating, the iron-clad crocodile let out a low growl, then walked on the beach crawling on its body, and then found a place to get down. Sure enough, the crocodile has the habit of basking in the sun after eating. Hongming was observing this scene underground, and his heart was filled with ecstasy. Iron-clad crocodile is rarely hunted, even if it is killed, it is directly besieged to death by many people. As for the habits of iron-clad crocodile, few people know. This discovery is still more than half a year ago. At that time, Hongming followed several other monks in the middle stage of Qi training to hunt the monsters at sea. Unfortunately, when he encountered the group of monsters, the 3 leaders of the middle stage of Qi training ran away. Hongming and other 4 cultivators on the 2nd and 3rd tiers of Qi training were left behind. Fortunately, although Hongming's turtle breath art has no defense and escape spells, it is good at hiding breath. At that time, Hongming ran near the iron-clad crocodile who was about to eat, hiding his breath and hiding. Then the group of monsters dispersed, and Hongming also managed to escape. There are 3 monks in the early stage of Qi training. They are not so lucky. Both are buried in the belly of the monster, and the surviving one has 1 leg missing and can no longer go hunting at sea. It was this time that Hongming decided to hunt monsters by himself. After the iron-clad crocodile got down, there was a snoring sound soon. Hongming waited underground, not in a hurry. Time is slowly passing away. Finally, when Hongming was almost unable to hold on under the ground, he finally sacrificed a yellow flying sword from the storage bag. Flying sword under the control of Hongming, sprang out from the ground with great precision, and then flew towards the belly of the armored crocodile. At this moment, Hongming felt the flying sword tear something apart, and the armored crocodile roared and jumped from the beach. However, Hongming did not give up, but controlled the flying sword and continued to slide on the abdomen of the armored crocodile. Hongming had prepared early. Although the yellow flying sword was only a low-grade magic weapon, the only weak point of the armored crocodile was the abdomen. The position of the abdomen was very fragile, and under the attack of the flying sword, there was no resistance at all, and it was cut apart. The blue blood instantly spilled over the beach. The iron-clad crocodile was in pain, rolled, then pulled the flying sword hard, and finally pulled out the flying sword. Snapped. Waved the tail and hit the flying sword at once, and the iron-clad crocodile rushed up again, slapped the flying sword fiercely. In the blink of an eye, the light above the flying sword was dim, and the sword body was somewhat wrinkled. Under the ground, Hongming spat out blood. Flying sword is a magic weapon that Hongming has practiced for several years. After being destroyed, his spiritual consciousness was naturally affected and slightly injured. I see how long you can be arrogant. Hongming escaped from the ground. With a wave of his hand, he took out a small blue net from the storage bag, and then threw it with his hand. The small blue net instantly expanded and caught the iron-clad crocodile. The iron-clad crocodile felt a crisis and struggled hard. If it is normal, the iron-clad crocodile can tear this low-grade magical weapon at once, but now the abdomen is seriously injured, and the strength of the whole body is lost. In addition, the toxins invade the wound. Coming younger and younger, I finally lost my intuition. Boom! Iron-clad crocodile fell to the ground. Hongming also stopped panting. Even if the sneak attack pierced the abdomen, even if the flying sword was smeared with poison in advance, the armored crocodile was still so difficult to deal with, and almost broke out of the water net and escaped. After a pause for 2 breaths, Hongming just showed ecstasy. This is a Tier 1 intermediate monster beast iron crocodile, and the whole body is a treasure. Hongming smiled, took out the dagger, and began to dissect it. Iron-clad crocodile is a very rare monster beast. It is a treasure. The iron armor on the back is very strong. If it is refined, it can point out several defensive magic weapons. The defense power is amazing. There are also huge teeth on the mouth and bones on the tail, which can all be refined into magic artifacts. After an expert dissection of the body, Hongming did not let go of a little baby. When only the internal organs were left, Hongming hesitated. Monsters are very resistant to toxicity, and the meat on the iron-clad crocodile is also a great supplement, so I can't let it go. Hongming took out the dagger, and stripped the meat from the iron-clad crocodile. It's just that after cutting open the abdomen, it crashed, and a pile of things fell out of the abdomen. There are animal bones and rocks in you reading www.yunsha.com. What is this? Hongming's face was depressed. There are many messy things in this stomach, among them there are many unknown stones. Wait a minute, where does this stone seem to be seen? Hongming remembered instantly, although the color on the stone had been dimmed a lot, it was exactly the same color as the iron armor on the back of the iron crocodile. The iron armor on the back of the iron-clad crocodile slowly became stronger because it swallowed the ore containing spirit iron. Hongming understood instantly. But it was useless. Hongming was going to pick up all the stones in his abdomen and threw it out. While was working on it, Hongming stopped because the stone in his hand was very special. It looked like a small gourd. And when I touched it carefully, it turned out to be very round. Glanced at it, and I really like it in my heart. Maybe Hongming succeeded in hunting this time and was very happy. Hongming's mind moved, and he was about to put the little gourd away, but the next moment, no matter how much Hongming used his aura, he couldn't put the treasure into the storage bag. How is this going? Hongming was a little dazed. Regardless of whether the item has aura or not, as long as it is a dead item, it can be easily stored in the storage bag. Unless this treasure was sacrificed by other monks, or some strange treasure. At this moment, a violent wind blows over the sea in the distance. Hongming saw this scene and had no time to think about it. His expression changed. He stringed the little gourd with a rope and hung it around his neck, then took out a blue boat from his storage bag and threw it into the air. The boat rose in the wind. Hongming jumped in, controlled the boat, and quickly disappeared on the desert island. In the sea, the blue gust of wind swept across the entire world. The gust of wind was tens of kilometers in radius. Countless sea water was drawn into the sea breeze, forming huge waves. As the waves hit, the deserted islands were flooded. In the distance, a blue boat floated in the air, quickly flying towards Dongluo Island. On a boat on the water, Hongming's face showed a lingering color. Just successfully hunted the iron-clad crocodile, and before leaving the desert island, I encountered a blue hurricane on the sea. It was really bad luck. Fortunately, it is not a red hurricane or a black hurricane, otherwise it is really impossible to escape. Hongming's face is a bit ugly. However, seeing the flying magical instruments flying by, Hongming hesitated slightly, took out a jade bottle from the storage bag, and swallowed the only pill in the jade bottle. The pill is poured into the stomach, and it quickly turns into spiritual energy, replenishing spiritual energy consumption. With the supplement of the elixir, the aura in Hongming's danshan was once again abundant, and the speed of driving the boat on the water became faster and faster. After a stick of incense, a group of monks were fighting around on the surface of the sea. Upon seeing this, Hongming drove a water boat, dived into the water, and quickly avoided. After more than an hour, when he approached Dongluo Island, Hongming slowed down and flew towards Dongluo Island slowly. Fortunately, I took the pill, otherwise I would be blocked by those people, and I would definitely die. Hongming is very thankful that he is well prepared. Whether it is the blue net, the poison, or the elixir to restore spiritual energy, there are preparations, otherwise it may not be able to return without anyone. After each hurricane, the monks hunting the monster race in the sea had to return, and because of the hurricane, the way back was very limited. At this time, those monks who plot badly have a chance. Hongming followed other people out to hunt and kill monsters. Although he was called miserably and didn't earn any spiritual stones, he accumulated bad experience. Walk slowly. The speed of the boat on the water was very slow. Hongming hurried along while regaining his spiritual power. Anyway, the sea area around here is already close to Dongluo Island, which is a relatively safe area. After walking like this for more than 3 hours, a mainland-like island finally appeared in front of Hongming. On the island, Hongming returned to the cave with familiarity. This hunting, Hongming prepared for more than a month, and all the accumulated more than 100 spirit stones were spent, and he stayed in the desert island for 2 months before returning victoriously. The bitterness along the way, needless to say. My heart was exhausted. Hongming lay in the cave, opened the alert formation, and fell asleep. After slept for a day and a night, Hongming woke up after being refreshed. The first thing he woke up, after Hongming adjusted his thoughts, he started to run the exercises. Tortoise breathing gong is not a particularly advanced technique. Among the tens of thousands of key training techniques circulating on Dongluo Island, they are one of the more tasteless ones. There are no powerful attack and defense spells attached, and the cultivation speed is not fast. It can be said that this kind of exercises really there is nothing particularly outstanding. But Hongming chose tortoise breathing power for no reason. The condensed spirit power of the tortoise breathing skill is extremely pure, and it has a certain increase in the casting of spells. At the same time, because of the pure spirit power, the bottleneck of breakthrough will be smaller than other powerful methods. In addition, the turtle breathing skill has one with the hidden breath spell. This spell is Hongming's support hidden in the sand. After practicing for 9 weeks and the aura around him became extremely thin again, Hongming stopped. The aura around him had been refined by Hongming for more than half and merged into the spiritual power of his danshan. It's just that when looking inside the Danshan's almost unchanged spiritual power, Hongming showed a trace of pain. This road of cultivation is too difficult. Hongming's cultivation is the third level of Qi training. One level of Qi training requires 9 spiritual powers to be condensed. Under normal circumstances, a cultivator with a spiritual root potential of about 40 will take about half a year to cultivate to the peak of level 1. But to advance to the second level of Qi training, you need to condense the 9 auras into a second level of Qi training. And to cultivate to the peak in the second level of Qi training, it is necessary to condense the spiritual power of the second level of 9 Dao Qi condensation. In other words, the time spent on the second level of Qi training is 9 times that of the first level. In theory, it takes 4.5 years to cultivate to the peak of the second level of Qi training. After is the third level of Qi training and the fourth level of Qi training. But things are not so absolute. For example, breaking through from the first Qi training level to the second Qi training level and integrating the 9 spiritual powers into one is very troublesome and difficult. The tortoise breathing technique that Hongming cultivates has pure spiritual power. Therefore, when he advanced from the first Qi training to the second Qi training, he hardly encountered any bottlenecks, and broke through in just half a month. But the price is that Hongming's usual practice speed is only 80% of other people's. In other words, it took Hongming nearly 7 months to cultivate to the peak of Qi training. Qi practice on the second floor is similar. It's just that when you practice the second level of Qi, the speed of refining heaven and earth aura will increase, but compared to the increase in the number of spiritual power in the Danshan, this increased training speed is really too general. Hongming has practiced for 15 years. Apart from taking the pill before the Hong family was ruined, he has always practiced by meditating to refine the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. 15 years, 3 levels of condensation. There are 8 spiritual powers in the Danshan, which is close to the peak of the third level of Qi training. This is the result of Hongming's hard practice. But this cultivation base is inconspicuous in Dongluo Island. Touched the storage bag around his waist, Hongming finally let go of his gloomy thoughts. Fortunately, I went hunting at sea, even though it was difficult, but it was finally rewarding. Otherwise, it would take about 8 years to break through the third level of Qi training by relying solely on hard cultivation. The 9th spiritual power, naturally, it does not take that long. But it is not easy to break through the bottleneck from the third level of Qi training to the fourth level of Qi training. It is estimated that it will take years to slowly polish the spiritual power to break through. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. This is also where most casual cultivators are helpless. Stood up, closed the guard circle, and Hongming walked out of the cave. Dongfu is a stone house, and this spiritual tree is planted in the distance. This spiritual tree is a first-order top-grade green sorghum, a green area with a light fragrance. It's just that the spirit tree and the stone house are the properties of Dongluo Island. Hongming theoretically just borrowed from living here for casual cultivation. The spiritual power under his feet surged, and the spiritual power of the soil above Hongming's feet surged. He took a step closer to 10 feet away and quickly walked towards the street. After half an hour, Hongming came to the Fang market. Dongluo Island has a radius of thousands of miles. It is said that it is an island, but it is actually a mainland. There are countless square markets on Dongluo Island. Zhangjia Fang City is one of them. This city was built by the Zhang family and was responsible for guarding. Because Zhang family had monks in the foundation building period, they acted fairly and were well known nearby. Although most of the things sold were used by low-level monks, the flow of people was very large. Almost every day, many monks from the Qi refining period come here. When Hongming came, there was a bustling crowd in the Fang market. After walking around the city, Hongming came to Zhang's shop. Walking into the shop, a small servant greeted him. "Please, from the guest officer, what do you want to buy?" "Yep." Hongming nodded, and said directly, "I recently went out to sea hunting monsters and got some good things." I wonder if the Zhang family is interested. Guest officer, go to the quiet room, our shopkeeper will come right away. Xiaozhuo politely led Hongming into a room, and after making tea, he turned and left. Sitting in the quiet room, Hongming's face was expressionless, but his heart was a little worried. Iron-clad crocodile is certainly precious, but the value is hard to say, especially when a third-level Qi training obtains this treasure. It is unavoidable to make people suspicious. If it's in another store, Hongming is sure that he will be followed by someone who wants to go out soon. When the time comes, he will die by accident. Therefore, Hongming chose Zhang's shop. The Zhang's shop is the manager of the Fangxi, with a big family, and the monster leather armor in the middle of the training period will not be seen even if it is more precious. Here, even if the selling price suffers a bit, it doesn't matter. Not long after waiting, a middle-aged monk walked in. The guest officer has been waiting for a long time. The middle-aged monk greeted politely as soon as he came in. Senior is kind, and didn't wait long. Hongming said politely. The middle-aged monk sat down and did not discuss business. First he was polite and introduced himself. This person's name is Zhang Yangfu, and he has a cultivation base of the 6th level. Because he is old, he has no hope of breaking through the foundation building period, and he doesn't want to continue fighting. So he had an errand in Zhang's family. The days are also pretty cool. Friend Hong Daoist has something to take out, I don't know if I can show it to the old man now. Zhang Yangfu asked after the greeting. Of course, I also invite Zhang Daiyu to take his palm. Hongming said calmly and waved his hand to take out the iron-clad crocodile from the storage bag. The giant teeth, tail, and iron armor on the back were placed in the quiet room intact. Zhang Yangfu saw this scene, his face changed slightly. This is the treasure from the iron crocodile. Leaned down and Zhang Yangfu checked it carefully. The more he checked, the more surprised Zhang Yangfu's expression became, and the surprise in his eyes made no secret. Friend Hong Dao is lucky. The treasure on this iron-clad crocodile is almost intact. If it hadn't been taken from an iron-clad crocodile, I would have thought that fellow Daoist had hunted 4 or 5 iron-clad crocodile. Hongming was silent. Under normal circumstances, it is very difficult to hunt iron-clad crocodiles. Even if the cultivator took a shot in the late stage of Qi training, it took a lot of effort, and most of it broke the iron armor on the back of the iron-clad crocodile. In this case, the value of hunting the iron-clad crocodile fell sharply. The things in Hongming's hands are indeed good things. Friend Hong Dao, how exactly this iron-clad crocodile was killed, I am really curious about it. Zhang Yangfu seemed to ask casually. Hongming heard this, and his calm expression changed slightly and said, this involves the techniques and spells that I practiced. Is it true that Zhang's store purchases treasures, but I still need to check these? Seeing that Hongming was a little angry, Zhang Yangfu immediately apologized, don't blame Dao friends, it's abrupt. These things need a little time to estimate, Dao friends can just wait a moment. This time, Zhang Yangfu called the young man over and said a few words. Soon, Zhang's shop sent 3 people over to check and estimate a little bit. And Xiao Si remade 2 cups of tea and put them on the table. Friend Hong Daoist, I was abrupt. This cup of oolong spirit tea is a plea for fellow Daoists, please. Zhang Yangfu said, took the tea by himself, took a sip, then closed his eyes and tasted it carefully. Upon seeing this, Hongming was slightly stunned, and then picked up his teacup. There is blue tea in the teacup, and there are 3 spiritual leaves in the tea. The whole cup of tea exudes a touch of aura. Took a sip, and a fragrance escaped from the tea, which made Hongming feel refreshed and a lot more energetic. What is even more miraculous is the spiritual energy contained in the tea. After entering the body, it also escapes. Hongming's technique slowly rotates, and this spiritual energy is slowly refined. Good tea. Hongming couldn't help but speak. It's fine if this tea is refreshing, it's not very useful, but the spiritual energy contained in it is not simple, it can speed up the pace of cultivation. If you drink more than 10 cups a day, I am afraid that Hongming's cultivation speed can increase by 10%. It's fine if you think it's good. This tea is brewed by picking the leaves of the second-order oolong tree and brewing it with the spiritual water in the spiritual spring. It is also very good for spiritual practice. It's a pity that this cup is enough. It takes 15 spirit stones, and 1 cup a day has the best effect. More than 3 cups, there is almost no effect. Zhang Yangfu explained. Hongming trembled in his heart, with a trace of envy on his face, and said, as expected of the Zhang family, it is really enviable to be able to raise such a second-order spirit tree. Friends of Taoism are polite, if you like, you can buy some tea and spiritual water to make your own, and there is no special flavor. Zhang Yangfu said kindly. Hongming smiled and did not answer. 15 spiritual stones a day, 400 or 500 spiritual stones a month. If you have this spirit stone, you can buy 5 or 6 water spirit pills every month. The training effect is dozens of times better than taking this spirit tea. If there are too many spirit stones for fools, they will use this method to practice. Hongming did not answer, but waited quietly. Soon, several people in Zhang's shop finished their calculations and walked to the side of Zhang Yangfu to say a few words in a low voice. Zhang Yangfu nodded and told several people to step back. Friend Hong Dao, these things have been estimated. The quality does not say that they are very well preserved. Therefore, the price of the Zhang family will not overwhelm you. It is just that this iron-clad crocodile itself is a tier 1 monster. It's too strong, we can't give too high a price. Oh, you reading www.yuyuganshu.com Zhangdaiyu just say it. Hongming has a slight smile on his face. The iron armor on the back can be used to refine 5 sets of inner armor, each of which is worth about 200 lingxi, but we have to use manpower and ore to refine, so we can give you 300 lingxi. 8 teeth can be refined into magical tools such as daggers, which can be given to 100 spirit stones. The tailbone can be made into a whip-like magical device, and 130 spiritual stones can be given. The upper and lower jaws can make long swords and give 150 spiritual stones. So, if fellow Hongdaist is willing to exchange these things for 680 spiritual stones, I can give fellow Daists a preferential price, the whole number of 700 spiritual stones. How do fellow Daists feel? Zhang Yangfu said with a smile. 700 spirit stones? Hongming trembled in his heart when he heard this. There are so many spirit stones, and many cultivators in the later stage of Qi training may not be able to get them at once. This is Hongming's trick. The iron-clad crocodile's carcass is completely preserved. All the places that can be sold are left intact. Otherwise, it may work hard once and only harvest 100 or 200 lingxi. Although he thought so in my heart, Hongming frowned slightly, his face a little helpless and hesitant. Daiyu Zhang, the price is a bit low, right? In order to keep this iron-clad crocodile, I also spent a lot of money. The cost of the spirit stone is as much as 500 yuan. After taking such a big risk, I gave it this little lingxi. I've lost a bit, not to mention that if you are not afraid of trouble and ask someone to refine it, I'm afraid you can earn almost 1,000 lingxi. Friends of Daoist joked. Zhang Yangfu quickly began to explain. The two bargained, and it was not until half an hour later that Hongming left with satisfaction. After left Zhang's shop, Hongming didn't go anywhere, and went straight back to the cave. After arriving at the cave, after opening the basic alert formation, Hongming was excited to take out a brand new storage bag from his arms. This time, the harvest is in the storage bag. 2 bottles of elixirs, a yellow middle-grade magic weapon flying sword, a blue boat flying magic weapon, and 100 spirit stones. This is the whole harvest. 2 bottles of pill, only 1 pill in 1 bottle is Ronki pill, which is the most common pill that monks take when they reach the bottleneck during the Qi training period. This pill can integrate the 9 spiritual powers into one, which is very helpful in breaking through the bottleneck. This pill is worth close to 300 lingxi, and it is also the most expensive of all items this time. And the other bottle of pill is water spirit pill, which is one of the common pill used by monks in the middle stage of Qi training to improve cultivation. The yellow middle grade magic weapon flying sword is a flying sword with earth attributes. A middle grade magic weapon can be considered as a preparation for the breakthrough. After the middle stage of Qi training, it is not appropriate to use a lower grade magic weapon, Hongming. There is still preparation. As for the flying magic weapon, it is also a mid-grade flying magic weapon. Hongming used a water boat before, which is the most basic water attribute flying magic weapon. It has slow speed and poor defense. Its only function is to be able to input spiritual power in a short time, use water escape, and blend into the sea water quickly. Forward. It's just that the fluctuation of the water escape technique is very big. If there is a monster in the sea, it will be over. Therefore, this water boat can only be used to avoid low-level monks chasing and killing, and you have to be careful about whether there are monsters around. This time, Hongming K was strong, and he also changed the King Mufia's Hu. This flying magic weapon is of wood attribute, it is fast, and its defense power has been greatly improved. We are seeking wealth, and the reward this time is really great. Hongming showed excitement on his face, and carefully checked the pills and magical instruments. Is a big shop after all the pills and magical instruments are intact. It's a pity that the inner armor could not be replaced. A trace of disappointment appeared on Hongming's face. While bargaining, Hongming wanted a piece of inner armor made of iron-clad crocodile. Who knows that Zhang's family disagrees? If Hongming insisted on the inner armor, then the flying magic weapon would not be possible. Hongming thought for a long time before choosing to fly the magic weapon. Melting Qi pill worth 300 lingxi, water ling pill worth 200 lingxi, flying sword worth 150 lingxi, flying dharma tool worth 200 lingxi, plus 100 lingxi. This time Hongming was considered to have bought something worth 950 spiritual stones, which was nearly on at herd higher than the price Zhang Yongfu initially offered. This is a surprise. But for the Zhang family, it is not a loss. After obtaining the spiritual materials from these iron-clad crocodile, after some refining, it is estimated that more than 2,000 spiritual stones can be sold. In addition, the medicines and magical instruments purchased by Hongming are all in the Zhangjia store, and there are 3-4 cents of profit, so put together, the Zhang family actually earned at least 1,500 lingxi. Hongming can guess these, but there is no way. Being able to exchange so many treasures is already the best ending. After putting away the artifact, Hongming took out the jade bottle and poured out a pill from the jade bottle. The pill is water blue, with a faint fragrance of elixir. First order pill, water spirit pill. The pill that the monks will take in the midstage Qi training for practicing water attribute exercises can greatly help condensing spiritual power. Hongming took the water spirit pills and started to run the exercises. The medicinal power of Shuiling Dan is a bit strong, and the monks in the early stage of Qi training generally don't take it, but Hongming is in the third stage of Qi training and can barely bear it. As soon as the water spirit pill enters the abdomen, it turns into a pure water attribute spirit. A huge amount of spiritual energy quickly appeared in the meridians, and the rising Hongming felt extremely painful. Fortunately, Hongming has a firm will to run the turtle breathing power with all his strength, refining the power of the medicine. Gui Xi Gong's spiritual power is purer than other exercises, so refining the medicinal power has a greater advantage, and as the medicinal power of the water spirit pill is slowly refined, the pain in the meridians quickly disappears. An hour later, Hongming opened his eyes, revealing a surprise: most of the 9th aura in the Danshan has been condensed, and this water spirit pill is really powerful. A water spirit pill, the effect is so obvious. But Hongming also understands that this matter cannot last long. Shuiling Dan is suitable for monks in the middle stage of qi training, but Hongming is only in the early stage of qi training, the effect will be so obvious. Moreover, among the dozens of medicinal pills suitable for midstage qi training, Shuiling pill is a weaker and pure aura, but even so, Hongming still feels pain in Dao meridians when taking it. After an hour of refining, there is still residual medicinal power in the meridians. Next, don't take the pill, polish your spiritual power, and sacrifice the magic artifact. Hongming opened the yellow middle grade flying sword, divine sense entered it, and the spiritual power in his danshan poured into the flying sword, slowly practicing. Offering to refining flying swords is a laborious task of careful study. Hongming has not yet advanced to the middle stage of qi training. It is naturally more difficult to sacrifice this middle grade artifact, but Hongming is not in a hurry. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com stopped after practicing for half an hour. The next step is to sacrifice the green wooden boat. After doing this, Hongming began to practice spells again. Spell training is the most boring and difficult. Spells that have been practiced for a few years are often not as powerful as the purchase of a magic weapon. Therefore, it is rare to practice and study spells. Hongming is the same. However, the hidden breath technique is a spell attached to the tortoise breath art. He has rescued Hongming twice, and Hongming has naturally practiced diligently. Operating the hidden breath technique, the spiritual power in the danshan was slowly consumed. 4 hours after one came, the spiritual power was almost consumed, and Hongming stopped and recovered his spiritual power. Meditate, practice ritual tools, practice magic. The days passed in a flash. Except for the need to go out to eat and drink after half a month, Hongming stayed in a simple cave and practiced hard. 5 months later, the cave where Hongming was in buzzed a whirlwind, and the surrounding spiritual energy surged in. Hongming, who was sitting on the stone bed, was swollen and his face showed pain. In the pubic area, the 9 spiritual powers are slowly condensing together. Even with the help of Rong Qi pill, the bottleneck in the early to mid stage of qi training is not so easy to break through. The process of merging the 9 spiritual auras into one is not simple, constantly shaking, violent, and almost collapsed. Fortunately, the Rong Qi pill has played a big role. In addition, the spiritual power of the Hongming tortoise Xi Gong is relatively pure, and the difficulty of fusion is also reduced a lot. After this torture for more than an hour, the 9 spiritual powers finally calmed down and slowly merged. After half an hour, a faint coercion appeared on Hongming. Finally to the 4th floor of qi training. Hongming opened his eyes, revealing the color of surprise, especially looking at the huge aura in his danshan. The bitterness of these years disappeared instantly. After running the exercises for a while, Hongming felt the difference. The speed of refining heaven and earth aura has doubled, and the advantage in the middle stage of qi training is really obvious. It's not the 4th level of qi training, and every spiritual power in the danshan is all of the 3rd level of qi training, so the training speed is not less than 1/4 of the 3rd level of qi training. Hongming urged his spiritual power, and there was a change. The effect of the hidden breath technique is even more obvious. If it is said that the cultivating hidden breath technique before, the monks in the later stage of qi training might still find it, then it is now difficult for the monks to discover Hongming's hidden breath technique in the late stage of qi training. Unless there are special means. In addition, after this breakthrough, Hongming's physical body has also refined some impurities, and his whole body exudes a faint smell. There has been a slight increase in divine consciousness, and the speed of sacrificing magical instruments has also increased a lot. After Hongming adapted to the improved cultivation level, he began to think about future cultivation. In the midstage of qi training, even the mainstream monks in Dongluo Island. Most cultivators, if there is no chance, they will basically end in the middle of qi training. According to the current speed of Hongming's meditation practice, not counting the bottleneck period, it takes about 20 years to practice the 4th level of Qi, about 50 years to practice the 5th level, and at least 120 years to practice the 6th level. In this way, you only have to practice the 6th level of Qi until you die. Therefore, if you want to go further, you must seek external forces. Pills are the easiest way. In addition, some auxiliary magical implements are also indispensable. All these need spirit stones. By the way, there are gourds. Hongming has not forgotten the gourd accidentally obtained from the belly of the iron-clad crocodile. I don't know what kind of treasure this gourd is, but it can't be stored in the storage bag. It's amazing. There are only 2 kinds of treasures that cannot be put into storage bags. One is storage treasures, the most common is storage bags, and the other is special treasures. It is rumored that a monk during the Qi training period hunted and killed monsters in the sea, and accidentally obtained a certain strange treasure, which could not be put in the storage bag. Later, it was handed to the family, and the family took the strange treasure to participate in the auction, which attracted Luo Xing unexpectedly. The high-ranking monks in the archipelago robbed them, and finally a golden core monk made the move, and spent several million spiritual stones to buy it. The monk in the Qi training period was promoted to the base building period with a smooth breeze and became a legend in the Loxing Islands. This treasure is so difficult to be a foreign treasure. Hongming's eyes were suspicious. Looking at the stone gourd carefully, Hongming didn't notice the slightest abnormality. He couldn't use the spiritual consciousness and spiritual power to sacrifice the gourd. The gourd itself completely isolates the spiritual power, and spiritual power can't penetrate into it. Hongming even tried it with a middle-grade magical device, but couldn't leave the slightest trace on the gourd. Why is this thing so strange? Hongming took the gourd and played carefully. At this time, Hongming noticed that there are 2 patterns on the stone gourd, one is round and the other is half-curved, which looks like a sun and a moon. With a thought, Hongming's consciousness slowly stretched out and penetrated into the pattern of the sun and the moon. In an instant, Hongming felt that his divine consciousness seemed to have been swallowed by something, and was quickly consumed. What? Hongming let out a low growl and fainted. I don't know how long it took before Hongming finally woke up. It's just that at this time, Hongming felt a little flustered, because his consciousness had left the body. Divine consciousness is out of body? Hongming had never heard of this kind of ability. It was rumored that the high-ranking monks above the foundation stage had unpredictable supernatural powers and might be able to do it, but for Hongming, it was too far away. This place is a vast space. The ground is a piece of grey land with nothing bare. In the sky, a round of sun rises, shining on the earth. This place is the gourd space? How can I go back? Hongming thought. He felt a trace of connection. Following this connection, Hongming moved his mind, and the next moment, Hongming opened his eyes. Came back. Raised his arms and shook his body. Hongming didn't feel any discomfort, except for the consumption of more than half of his spiritual consciousness. Picked up the gourd, Hongming took a closer look, his eyes were surprised, the pattern is gone. The stone gourd originally had sun and moon patterns on its body, but now it has disappeared. However, after Hongming thought of this place, he felt strange. It seems that the sun and moon pattern is still on the gourd, but neither the naked eye nor the spiritual sense can feel it, but Hongming can magically feel its existence. Divine sense slowly penetrated into the place where the pattern on the stone gourd should exist. The next moment, Hongming felt the world spin. Is surrounded by a grey space, a misty area, without seeing the edge, the sun in the sky is ready to set slowly, and the black ground on the ground is still bare without any change. This place seems to be useless. Hongming came in this time, he didn't consume his spiritual sense, and naturally he didn't feel nervous, but he looked into this gourd space with great interest. It's just that when Hongming was working in this place or practicing magic arts, you read the book www.yuyuganshu.com and noticed the difference. Although the sun and the earth in this place exude auras, the auras cannot be refined at all. Called as if the world is one. In this way, Hongming tried for a long time, but nothing was gained. After came out again, Hongming showed helplessness. This gourd space seems to be used only as a storage artifact, but it seems to have no effect other than attracting the covetous hearts of other people. Such a storage treasure was handed down from ancient times. There should not be too many monks interested. Once exposed, it would be a disaster for Hongming. Fortunately, the pattern on this treasure has disappeared, and no one except Hongming can find the clues of this treasure. But Hongming decided not to use this storage treasure in front of outsiders. Putting away the sun and moon gourd, Hongming cultivated hard again. After the 4th level of advanced Qi training, although Hongming studied hard, he also started to make friends. Especially after the midstage of Qi training, the strength has been greatly increased. Whether it is the power of spells or the cultivating middle-grade magical tools, there are qualitative improvements. At this time, going out to sea to hunt monsters is a very good choice. And the monks in the middle stage of Qi training will also gather 5 or 6 people together, support each other, and go out to sea to hunt monsters. 1 month later, in a cave house, 6 people exchanged their thoughts. Hongming sits on the edge, carefully comprehending the experience of other people, and occasionally expressing his own views on cultivation. Listening to the exchanges of so many deists, Hongming regretted it. If he knew the principles of these cultivation earlier, it would be at least 3 levels less difficult to break through the 4th level of Qi training. The practice experience of seniors is still very useful. When the exchange was almost done, the monk in the lead said, "That's the end of this exchange meeting. After half a month, everyone will go out to sea to hunt monsters and beasts. What do you think of fellow Taoists?" "No problem," Daiyu Zheng leads the team. He has no opinion. Among the crowd, a female nun spoke. Others also echoed. The monk surnamed Zheng is Zheng Hao. He is an alchemist. Although he can only refine first-order pills and his success rate is limited, his cultivation level has reached the 6th Qi training level, and his value is not comparable to that of ordinary mid-Qi training cultivators. Coupled with being fair and peaceful, he is very prestigious in casual cultivation. This is also the reason why Hongming came to communicate. Everyone else agreed. Brother Zheng looked at Hongming again and said, "Friend Hongdao, you have just made a breakthrough. If you go to sea to hunt monsters, how about working with us? There will be some mutual support, but the harvest of hunting monsters must be distributed according to performance." Hongming hesitated slightly, seeing other people's expressions showing some impatience. He said, "It's better to be respectful than fate. Hong is also about to go out and see." The monk surnamed Zheng showed a hint of joy upon hearing this. After a while, Hongming returned to the cave, the color gloomy and uncertain. This monk surnamed Zheng has an excellent reputation, he acts peacefully, and there is no bad news, but Hongming always feels something wrong. This feeling is a kind of ability for Hongming to practice turtle breath art. Tortoise breathing technique is said to have been modified by a senior based on the practice of the tortoise demon clan. After numerous revisions, there are many versions. The tortoise breathing technique that Hongming cultivates is the simplest, most basic, and one of the weakest versions with spells. In addition to the hidden breath technique, this technique also has a peculiar perception ability. The tortoise is timid by nature, and can sense any danger in advance and hide in the tortoise shell. Hongming cultivates this kind of turtle breathing technique and has this similar ability. There are a total of 6 people in the exchange meeting. Except for Hongming and another monk who are on the 4th level, the other 3 are on the 5th level, and the monk surnamed Zheng is on the 6th level. But apart from the strong sense of danger given to Hongming by the monk surnamed Zheng, no one else has it. Maybe Zheng Daiyu has hunted too many monsters and the evil spirit on his body is too heavy, or it is because of his strongest cultivation base. Hongming guessed from the bottom of his heart, but he couldn't avoid being wary. Half a month later, A blue boat departed from Dongluo Island and flew towards the south. On the boat, the 6 Hongming men took their seats. Among them, the female Xiuhe and another male Xiuwei who practiced qi on the 4th floor stood on the side of the ship, carefully guarding. The monk surnamed Zheng sat in the middle of the cabin, inputting spiritual power and controlling the flying magical instruments, while introducing to Hongming, "This time, everyone is going to the southern waters. There is a large area of hills underground. The water level is not high, there are no monsters that are too powerful, and there are many elixir growing in the water. It is the most suitable place for me to wait." The place. That's it, I've been taught. Hongming listened quietly. The monk surnamed Zheng explained again. This large area, more than 800 nautical miles south of Dongluo Island, is a place often visited by monks in the middle of qi training. There are rolling hills underground, and the water level is not deep. The water is not deep enough to raise the water dragon. The monsters in this place are almost all Tier 1 and Tier 2 monsters, corresponding to the monks in the middle and late qi training period, plus the scattered spiritual veins under the ground, so that the reproduction of the monster beasts is very active. The monks in the middle stage often came here in groups to hunt monsters. Hongming naturally knows this place. There are many monsters in this place. The monks in the middle stage of qi training come alone, and if they are not careful, they will be besieged and become blood food in the mouth of the monsters. Hongming went to the east of Dongluo Island before, and that's why. A large area in the east of Dongluo Island has rare spiritual veins and low levels of monsters. It is suitable for monks in the early and middle stages of qi training. The south is suitable for the middle and late stages of qi training. As for the seniors in the base building period, there are more places to go. To the north and east of Dongluo Island, as long as 2,000 nautical miles are out of the sea, there are countless monsters equivalent to the base building period, and there are even higher levels. The group chatted about anecdotes about hunting monsters, but they didn't seem lonely. After 3 hours, Hongming and another sister named Zhang were on guard together. This sister surnamed Taciturn, she likes to sit alone and read books in her free time. I heard that Zhang Daiyu is good at formation. Hongming was bored and asked in a low voice. The female surnamed Zhang glanced at Hongming, her eyebrows showed a wary look, and said, "I can't talk about being good at it, just a little dabbling. The formations that can be refined underneath are limited, and can only refine the first level formation." "Oh," Hong is somewhat interested. Hongming spoke. Upon hearing Hongming's words, the sister surnamed Zhang immediately showed excitement and began to explain, "There are 3 types of formations in hand, one is trapped people, it can be trapped people or monsters, the other is defensive formations, but the most expensive is the simple spirit gathering formation." Spirit gathering array. Hongming was taken aback, his face was surprised. Spirit gathering formation is a high-level formation. Although I have never seen it before, Hongming has also heard of it. This formation is used by high-ranking monks to gather spiritual energy for cultivation or to cultivate spiritual plants. It's just a simple version of the spirit gathering array, which can gather the spirit energy around and speed up the cultivation speed of about 1/20 of the midstage qi training. The sister surnamed Zhang quickly explained. "So that's it. You reading www.yuyuganshu.com." Hongming nodded, but he also had some thoughts in his heart, and asked, "It is said that there is a kind of spirit gathering futon, which is woven with the branches of second-order and third-order spiritual plants and refined by the formation method. It is very strong. The auxiliary cultivation effect, I don't know if it is true or not. Naturally it is true. A female practitioner surnamed Zhang cultivated the formation, naturally she knew it too, and began to explain it. The cultivating path of a monk is difficult. If it is purely meditation, even if the spiritual root potential is 70 or 80, the cultivation speed is 2 to 3 times that of Hongming, and it is impossible to cultivate to the 9th level of qi training before the age of 50. Therefore, there are many ways to assist in cultivation. In addition to the most common pill, there are many other methods, such as burning calming incense, taking spiritual rice, using the spirit gathering array, gathering spirit futon and so on. Needless to say, the elixir, burning the scent of tranquility, can calm the cultivator, speed up the cultivation speed, and weaken the bottleneck, while the spirit gathering formation and gathering spirit formation can speed up the refining of spiritual energy and greatly reduce the training time. With these words, Hong Ming's knowledge has increased a lot. It's a pity that I am shy in my pocket, and I don't have any spirit stones to buy. Hong Ming said helplessly. The female sister surnamed Zhang hesitated after hearing the words, and then said, if Daoists want to go further on the path of cultivation, it is best to have a skill, otherwise it will be too difficult to earn spirit stones. It is not the best choice to go out to hunt monsters and beasts. If possible, enter the section it is good. Thank you fellow Taoists, I have been taught. Hong Ming bowed slightly. The sister surnamed Zhang was slightly panicked, lowered her head without speaking, and continued to read the book. In this way, the 6 people were divided into 3 groups to alternate their guards. After 6 days, the wind-based flying magic weapon finally stopped. The mountains and seas are in front of you, please be careful. The monk surnamed Zhang put away the blue boat, landed on a rock, and then sacrificed a blue longsword and said in a deep voice. At this time, other people also sacrificed their magical instruments. A group of 6 people, Hong Ming respectfully sacrificed a middle-grade yellow flying sword, while the female Xiu surnamed He sacrificed a green wooden strip, the wooden strip shining with water, hovering above her head. The monk surnamed Wei is the most ostentatious, offering a golden long sword. The spiritual power on the long sword condenses into sword energy, and the golden sword light is dazzling. Sister Zhang, surnamed Zhang, set up a yellow tortoise-shell shield to protect her body. The last monk surnamed Li, holding a sledgehammer in his hand, stood neatly, but the yellow light and flames shining from the latter showed how extraordinary the monk surnamed Li was. Midstage Qi training cultivators, under normal circumstances, their spiritual knowledge and spiritual power are limited, so they can only sacrifice 2 middle-grade magical artifacts, but if they do this, they will not be able to control so well, and the speed of spiritual power consumption will be greatly increased. Therefore, unless it is about to fight, few people will do it. Friend Hong Dao is unexpected, there is a middle-grade artifact. The monk surnamed Zheng was rather surprised. Next to, the sister surnamed He also showed surprise. The price of a medium-grade magic weapon is more than 150 spiritual stones. When the average monk has just broken through the middle stage of Qi training, he has exhausted the spiritual stones on his body. Some type of, hey, it's just a flying sword with earth attributes, and you don't understand sword aura, what power can it have? Next to the monk surnamed Wei, seeing the look of the sister surnamed He commented very unceremoniously. Hong Ming's eyes sank slightly, and he remained silent. The atmosphere is a bit awkward. The others did not express any opinions as if they hadn't heard the monk surnamed Wei. Okay, everyone will follow me and get ready to set off. Daiyu He and Daiyu Zhang are among the 4 of us, Daiyu Wei is on the right, Daiyu Li is at the end, and Daiyu Hong is on the left, how about? The monk surnamed Zhang made the assignment, and everyone has no opinion. The 6 people have a clear division of labor and distinct characteristics. The arrangement of the monk surnamed Zheng is completely fine. A group of people are ready to set off. Although you can't rely on spiritual power to fly in the air during the training period, it's okay to glide in the air in a short period of time. In this mountainous sea area, the hills are chaotic, and a section of rocks protrudes from the water every few hundred meters, and some rocks are even worse. It is dozens of feet high, forming a small island. The 6 were cautiously guarded, and soon came to a hill. Okay, right here. The monk surnamed Zheng stood on a rising hill and looked around, revealing a trace of satisfaction. The vegetation in this place is luxuriant, and there must be scattered spiritual veins under the ground, and there will be monsters gathering. Wait a moment, I will go down first to attract the monsters, and everyone will take action together. The monk surnamed Zheng said. Everyone nodded. Except for Hong Ming, it's not the first time everyone has cooperated, they are very familiar. Hong Mingji took off the sword, carefully guarding. At this time, Hong Ming suddenly regretted not buying a defensive magic weapon. In case of a monster attack, he could only evade in a hurry. The monk surnamed Zhang finished speaking, surrounded by a blue light on his body, entered the water and disappeared. On the hills, the monk surnamed Zhang took out 2 formations and laid them down to arrange the formation. After finishing the arrangement, the sister surnamed Zhang hesitated and said, "Friend Hong Dao, you are out hunting for the first time, and your cultivation base is lower. It's better to come to the formation first. With formation defense, it will be much safer." Upon hearing this, Hong Ming hesitated slightly, and said, "Thank you Zhang Daiyu." Entering the coverage of the formation, Hong Ming felt a little relieved. 5 people stood separately, waiting quietly. After half a stick of incense, the figure of the monk surnamed Zhang rushed out, followed by a water buffalo about 1 foot long, and the buffalo felt something wrong when it came out of the water. But the next moment, the branch in the hands of the female sister he flew over and turned into green vines more than 2 feet long, binding the 2 hind limbs of the buffalo, and the female sister Zhang was urging the formation. A blue light flashed above the disc, and a curtain appeared to surround the buffalo. Kill! No one hesitated at this moment. The cyan flying knife of the monk surnamed Zhang quickly slashed it towards the water buffalo. The golden long sword of the monk surnamed Wei whizzed across, and the sword body carried the sword aura and smashed the bull. The monk surnamed Li was even more arrogant. The yellow and red light flashed above his body, and he wielded a sledgehammer to directly fight the buffalo. Hong Ming saw this and did not hesitate, controlling the flying sword and poking towards the eyes of the buffalo. The 6 people worked together, and the sisters surnamed He and Zhang were besieged, and the other 4 killed the enemy. Tier 2 monsters had no resistance at all, they were cut to death with half a stick of incense, and their body was torn into several halves, and their flesh and blood scattered all over the floor. Friend Hong Dao, you go to the bottom of the water to pack up the elixir. Around the buffalo's lair, there are some water clouds and grasses, which are also worth hundreds of spiritual stones. The monk surnamed Zhang smiled and ordered. In this battle, Hong Ming contributed the least and consumed the least spiritual power. Coupled with a low cultivation base, is naturally suitable for things like cleaning the battlefield. Hong Ming nodded, the blue light flashed on his body, and went to the bottom of the water. The sea is not deep, and it is not the first time Hong Ming has dived into the bottom of the water, but he still feels a little worried about being alone in the depths of the water. Dived carefully to the bottom, the surrounding water pressure was getting higher and higher, the spiritual power shield around Hong Ming was also squeezed severely, and the spiritual power was consumed more and more. Finally, Hong Ming came to a cave underground. The cave is not deep and clean. Walking into the cave, Hong Ming felt the breath of buffalo around him. On one side of the cave, there is a piece of grey soil, which exudes a faint aura, and on this soil, there is a blue elixir. Water cloud grass. Hong Ming recognized it all at once. This elixir is not high, there are only 3 or 4 leaves, and each leaf has a blue pattern, which looks like a cloud, and the clouds are still moving from time to time. Is like a cloud in the sky. 22 beads of water and cloud grass, but unfortunately there are only 8 above the 3 leaves, of which there are 2 with 4 leaves and 1 with 5 leaves. A sigh appeared on Hong Ming's face. Shui Yunko has 2 leaves, and 1 leaf grows every 50 years. In other words, most of this elixir is 50 years old, and its value is not high. Only 4 leaves with 100 years of medicine are worth 50 or 60 spirit stones, and 5 leaves with 150 years of medicine are worth 150-60 spiritual stones. Carefully digging up the elixir from the roots, carrying the dirt on the ground, a strange color suddenly appeared in Hongming's eyes. The soil in the gourd is spiritual soil. Hongming suddenly felt a little stupid. The soil in the space of the sun-moon gourd contains spiritual energy. It is obviously spiritual soil. The spiritual soil has the effect of accelerating the growth of spiritual materials, which is very rare. Now that Hongming saw the soil under the water cloud grass, he suddenly remembered. It's so stupid, why didn't I remember it? Hongming was a little bit upset, but at this time, there was nothing to regret. Checked that there was no other people around, Hongming picked all the remaining immature water cloud grass, and then received it from the sun and moon gourd. There are 5 people waiting on it. Hongming has no time to clean up, just roughly planted yunling grass, and left the bottom of the water. After a while, Hongming came to the island and took out the water cloud grass from the storage bag. Everyone, that's it. The monk surnamed Zhang glanced at Shui Yunko, nodded, and said, not bad, not bad. Next, we will distribute the harvest. The monk surnamed Zhang casually took out the skins, horns and a yellow bezoar of the buffalo monster beast, and placed them with the water cloud grass. Old rules, Shui Yun, needless to say, it is worth 250 spirit stones, bezoar is worth 100 spirit stones, and horns are worth 200 spirit stones. This cowhide is divided into 5 pieces, each worth 100 spirit stones. There are a total of 1050 spiritual stones, don't you have any opinions? The monk surnamed Zhang said kindly, and the price is 90% correct. Although the prices of various spiritual materials fluctuate, the difference is only a few spiritual stones. The other 5 people have no opinion. This time, I will take 220 spiritual stones, Wei Daiyu 200 spiritual stones, He Daiyu and Zhang Daiyu each take 160 spiritual stones, Li Daiyu takes 190 spiritual stones, as for Hong Daiyu, 130 spiritual stones, what do you think? The monk surnamed Zhang made another allocation. The monk surnamed Zhang is responsible for attracting monsters. The mission is the most dangerous, and coupled with a lot of effort, there is no objection to this amount. Dao Fellow Wei's performance was surprising. Although the golden longsword was a medium-grade magic weapon, it was no less powerful than the monk surnamed Zhang when it was mobilized. It might be more powerful than just lethality. So I got 200 spirit stones. Li Daiyu was responsible for the frontal entanglement, entangled the buffalo heathen, worked hard, stood on the front line of the battle, and also got 190 spirit stones. Sister He and Sister Zhang are responsible for trapping the buffalo. Although they don't contribute much, they are indispensable. They also got 116 spiritual stones. There is only Hongming, the magic weapon is of average power, and the damage to the water buffalo is limited. It is just a bit harder to clean the battlefield behind, and I get 130 spiritual stones. After the monk surnamed Zheng, no one else had any opinion. This distribution is fair and just. In this case, you can choose whether you want these treasures or not. If the allocated spirit stones are not enough, you can give them to others. The monk surnamed Zheng said again. The spiritual materials obtained by the team are naturally provided for domestic demand first, and whoever wants it can take it first. As long as you are willing to pay the spirit stone and get the value together. Even if it's not enough for the time being, you can owe it first, and when the monster hunts next time, you can make up for it. The others looked around and shook their heads. There is nothing in it, which few people want. At this time, Hongming stood up and said, "Give me one of the skin of the buffalo. I just lack the means of defense. This skin is barely a defense if I wear it on my body." "Oh." The monk surnamed Zhang nodded, took the largest piece of the 5 animal skins and handed it to Hongming. He also put away all the elixir and bezoar, and the others were not curious at all. "This elixir and bezoar are suitable for refining the pill, so I bought it. Let us take these elixir and things separately." The monk surnamed Zheng is an alchemist and took away Yun Lingko. But there are plenty of spiritual stones, and the others have totally different opinions. After dividing the harvest this time, the atmosphere among the 6 people has also improved a lot. Even Wei Daiyu, who was slightly hostile to Hongming before, has a much kinder attitude. In the next 1 or 2 months, 6 people still need to fight side by side. It's always okay to get familiar with them. It was Li Daiyu who came over when everyone was regaining their spiritual power and asked, "Friend Hongdaist seems to lack defense means." Well, it is true that I have never had a chance to come out before, and I have been cultivating hard to break through, and have not yet bought a defensive magic weapon. Hongming did not shy away from this. A group of 6 people are almost familiar. If you want to hide this thing, you can't hide it. You have to be more careful, but I have a defensive spell here. I don't know if Hongdayu needs it. The monk surnamed Li actually sold the spell to Hongming. At this moment, Hongming was a little surprised. Several other people saw this scene and laughed secretly, but they were not surprised. "Brother Li, I don't know if you can let me take a look at this spell first?" Hongming asked. The monk surnamed Li nodded, took out a jade slip, and handed it to Hongming. The information in the jade slip is not complete. The complete magic behind it, as well as the practice experience, etc., are all covered up. Hongming was surprised when he saw it for a moment. The magic is really very impressive, apart from anything else. That's great. Brother Li, how many spirit stones does this spell need to exchange? Hongming asked in a deep voice. Generally speaking, the prices of exercises and spells are very cheap, because they are highly replicable. Especially low-level spells and exercises, it is simply a bad street, and there are any shops in the market. After all, spells and exercises can be copied by a cultivator. Became almost zero. It is extremely difficult to find any high-level spells and techniques. You can only find it unless you are in a big family or in the sect. Hongming has not practiced high-level spells. Yu read www.yuyuganshu.com, but looking at the defensive spells in the jade slip, it is obviously unusual. This, 50 spiritual stones, how do fellow Taoists feel? The monk surnamed Li gritted his teeth and said. General spells only have 1 or 2 spiritual stones, and the better 10 spiritual stones are expensive. However, considering that the level of this spell may be very high, plus the practice experience inside, 50 spiritual stones not too high. After pondered slightly, Hongming nodded, "Yes, I want this spell. But there is no spirit stone for the time being. Wait for the next harvest to be given to Brother Li, how about?" "It's okay, it's okay." The monk surnamed Li said with a smile on his face, his expression greatly relieved. The female surnamed He next to see this scene, she teased, "Friend Li Daist is using spells to trick newcomers again. Where is there a deception? My spell is real, and my grade is not low, it is a high-level spell handed down from ancestors, and can be cultivated." The monk surnamed Li said unconvinced, flushing. Several other people also recovered their spiritual power and laughed when they saw it. Hongming lowered his head, and then this opportunity to continue to watch the unshielded jade slip. The defensive spell in the jade slip is called the Geomagnetic Anode Bodyguard Shen Guang. This name sounds extremely bluffing. Sacred light spells are extremely rare. They are generally high-level spells that can cultivate the existence of magical powers. It's just that in the Loxing Islands, I have never heard of any senior who has cultivated magical powers. The level of this spell can be seen. Among the jade slips, the predecessor's tone is also very big, and he highly respects spells. But after Hongming watched it carefully, he felt that there was some tingling in the skin. "Let's go, everyone's spiritual power is almost restored, continue on." The monk surnamed Zheng said. The other 5 people stood up and followed behind, but Hongming frowned, still thinking about defensive spells. "Friend Hongdao, Do you feel that you have lost? Sister Zhang said in a low voice. Hongming shook his head. The spells in this jade slip are good, and the practice experience is extremely rare. It's a loss, but this spell is too difficult to practice. I'm afraid it will take hundreds of years of hard work. Well, it's better for fellow Hongdaeist to sacrifice a defensive magic weapon to defend himself. Sister Zhang said in a low voice. Hongming nodded. But the bottom of my heart is concerned about this spell, but I have my heart. Geomagnetic Anode Body Guardian Light, cultivation is divided into 3 levels. First practice the Geomagnetic Bodyguard Element Cover, then practice the Pure Yang Bodyguard Body Element Cover, and finally merge the 2 spells into one, and then cultivate into the Geomagnetic Anode Light. This kind of cultivation method is very good, it has become a kind of system. During the Qi training period, cultivate the Geomagnetic Body Protecting Element Cover, and during the base building period, cultivate the Pure Sun Body Protecting Element Cover, and in the Golden Core period, the 2 will be integrated. According to the Jade Slip, at the end of the day, you can cultivate supernatural powers. Is only the recorder of the exercises, and only the monks in the foundation period, and has not cultivated to the peak. Whether this is true or false is unknown. The hunting of monsters went smoothly. The monk surnamed Zheng is still relatively smart, he is more restrained every time he attracts monsters, choose 2 or 3 monsters at a time, the rank is not very high, so the 6 people cooperate tacitly, and the hunting is relatively smooth. In more than a month, I hunted and killed a total of 6 times, and the harvest was not bad every time. Especially the monks surnamed Zheng and the monks surnamed Wei, whose income exceeds 1,000 spiritual stones, with a satisfying look. Everyone, this time the hunt is almost the same. Why don't you go back here first? What do you think? The monk surnamed Zheng spoke. Once out, the monk surnamed Zheng harvested 1,500 spiritual stones. There was no accident in the middle, which was a real big gain. If it has been so smoothly, using the harvested spirit stones to buy pills, I am afraid that 10 years will be enough to advance to the late stage of Qi training. That's right, everyone's gains are good this time, it's better to stop as soon as possible. Sister Zhang said so too. Hunting in the sea is infinitely dangerous, and the harvest is good. It is a good thing to close your hands very early, so as not to encounter unexpected situations, it will be bad. Before the 5 hunting, it was not so smooth any time, and most of the harvest was lost. Okay, let's get ready to return. The monk surnamed Zheng made a decision. A group of 6 people began to walk back. Only half an hour later, the 6 stopped, because a blue light in front quickly escaped toward the 6, and behind this man, there was a water snake monster beast that was more than 10 meters long following. Damn, get ready to do it. The face of the monk surnamed Zheng changed drastically, and he first sacrificed his cyan long sword. This oncoming cultivator in the late stage of Qi training obviously had bad intentions. He turned out to be miserable and attracted the monster beast. If it was really attracted, 6 people would have to fight. When the time comes, this latest age Qi training cultivator is hiding in the distance, saying that he can't just sit back and reap the benefits of the fisherman. The highest cultivation level of the 6 people is only the 6th level of Qi training, which is naturally not comparable to this Xingyi monk, but the 6 people work together and are not afraid of this person. Therefore, after the monk surnamed Zheng shot, the 6 quickly stood in their positions. Shot. This time, except for the Zhang surnamed female cultivator who arranged an array to guard the surroundings, all the other 5 people sacrificed their magical weapons. Hongming, that's all about the female surnamed Xiuhe and the surnamed monk Li. They are just as powerful, but Daiyu Zheng and Daiyu Wei are extraordinary. The cyan longsword of Daiyu Zheng is extremely fast, and it flies by carelessly. Between the long swords flying, there were wind blades appearing. The cultivating cultivator hurriedly responded. And Daiyu Wei's golden sword is even more extraordinary. On the long sword, the golden light of the sword swallowed, and its power was amazing. 5 magical weapons were shot at the same time, and the blue shields on the monks in the later stage of the Qi training were all shaky. In the later stages of the Qi training, the monks vomited blood and looked depressed. Several people were overjoyed when they saw this. The cultivator in the late stage of Qi training had obviously been seriously injured, otherwise it would be impossible to be seriously injured under this attack. "Get trapped here, he is hurt." Daiyu Zhang shouted loudly, took out a pile of red talisman seals from his arms, waved and threw it out. The power of Fusewen was not strong, but it was enough as an interference. A fireball fell, and the monks were exhausted in the late stage of Qi training. And at this time, fellow Hidaist sacrificed his magical tools, and the branches turned into vines, trapping his legs in the late stage of Qi training. The monk was furious in the late stage of Qi training. "You are waiting for death," said. This monk in Xingyi took out a red thing from the storage bag and threw it out. As soon as this red thing appeared, Hongming felt a crisis. At the critical moment, Hongming hid in the formation, the yellow light flashing on his body, hiding in the sand under his feet. The next moment, with a boom, the red object exploded. The flames burst out from the sky, sweeping everyone around. The monster water snake in the late stage of Qi training that was originally chasing behind, saw the sound of the explosion, turned around instantly, dived into the sea and disappeared. The explosion hit, and flames swept all around instantly. No one was spared. The first person to bear the brunt was Daiyu Wei. His golden sword attack was the strongest and became the target of the monk Xingyi. The red item was the closest to Daiyu Wei. Under a single blow, Daiyu Wei wailed, and his body was mostly torn, and he was silent. More than that, the situation of others is not so good. The cyan light on fellow Daist Zhang flashed, the fastest, and he dodged hurriedly, but it was a pity that the middle-grade defensive magic weapon was almost burned, and his body was burned by the flames. Daiyu Li is a cultivator who is also very close to Daiyu Wei. After being hit by the scattered flames, he lay on the ground and wailed, completely unable to move. He Enziu and Zhang Enziu are similar. You read the book www.yuyuganshu.com. The two who hid in the formation, at the same time sacrificed the defensive magic weapon, took out several defensive talisman seals, and pasted them on their bodies. It's just that the power of the explosion was too strong. The formation, magic weapon and defensive seal were destroyed in a blink of an eye, and the remaining aftermath rushed to the two of them, instantly fainting both of them. "Haha, you idiots, how dare you do it to me?" Brother Xingyi laughed. But at this moment, Daist Zhang, who was not far away, looked cold in his eyes, and a black air flashed across his hand, and then Daist Zhang stretched out his hand and took out a black claw. This claw, I don't know what kind of demon beast's claw came up for sacrifice, and there was a trace of blood on it. "Go with." Daiyu Zhang let out a low growl, and the black energy in his hand melted into his paws, and he slammed his paws towards the monk Xingyi. Brother Xingyi is not a fool, he has been on guard for a long time, but this time, this black and red devilish claw is too fast. The high-grade defensive magic weapon on the monk Xingyi resisted the siege of the 6 people. The monster beast that lived in the late stage of Qi training, but was instantly pierced under its claws, and the claws were in the abdomen of monk Xingyi, instantly shattering the internal organs of monk Xingyi. "You, magic repair!" Brother Xingyi showed anger. After preparing for so long, he was about to succeed. Unexpectedly, he was killed by the 6th level demon cultivator. Killed Mo Zhu, and the monk surnamed Zhang was also very pale. He quickly took out the pill from his arms and filled it into his abdomen. The sluggish breath on his body improved a lot. "Who?" The cyan light flashed, and the monk surnamed Zhang packed away the 3 storage bags left by the monk Xingyi, and then looked at the 6 people on the island who were almost unconscious, flashing a gloomy color on his face. "Okay. The female cultivator surnamed Zhang raised her head. Her aura was extremely depressed, but fortunately her Danshan spiritual power was still there. She resisted and sacrificed a defensive magic weapon. "Friend Zheng, what about brother Tsing Yi?" Daiyu Zhang asked, with a lingering expression on his face. "Just said that the group went well, but it didn't take long to encounter this kind of unsuspecting disaster. This luck is really elusive. The man was chased by the monster beast and has escaped. Fortunately, there is the second-order monster beast, otherwise you and me will all die." The monk surnamed Zheng sat down. "By the way, where's friends Hong Dao?" "I am here." Underground, a voice came, and Hong Ming's figure slowly emerged from the ground. But at this time, Hong Ming's hair and clothes were completely burnt, and only a layer of animal skin was left covering most of his body. Even so, the meat on his arms and thighs was also cooked. Although he avoided the formation, Hong Ming did not have a defensive magic weapon. The moment that formation broke, Hong Ming escaped into the ground. It's a pity that Hong Ming's earthen escape spells are not very strong. While fleeing, the exploding flames have already hit, and Hong Ming's body is mixed with some flames and rushed into the ground. Just a little bit, Hong Ming was burned to ashes by the flame. Fortunately, Hong Ming sensed the danger and prepared the spell in advance. Reached the ground, protected by animal skins, and the flame was quickly extinguished, but Hong Ming's injuries were not lighter. Friend Wei Dao is dead, and the other two are unconscious. Now we can only heal their injuries quickly and then return to Dongluo Island. It is too dangerous to be here now," Zhang Daiyu said in a deep voice. Hong Ming and Zhang Enziu both nodded. In this sea area, not only the monsters are dangerous, but the monks are also dangerous. 5 people are seriously injured. Once they encounter other monks, they will be hunted and killed. Compared to hunting monsters, the harvest of killing humans will be greater. This is also common in the sea. I have 2 bottles of medicinal pills for restoring flesh and blood here, fellow Hongdaoist. You can feed the other 3 fellow Taoists. Let's hurry up. Daiyu Zheng took out 2 bottles of pills and placed them on the ground. Seeing this, Hong Ming did not hesitate, picked up the jade bottle, and served it to Henuxiu and Li Daiyu. "I don't know what kind of pill, there is a strong fragrance on it." After the 2 took them, their complexion improved a lot, and Li Daiyu directly woke up and barely stood up. Unexpectedly, Li is still alive. Daiyu Li showed a look of happiness on his face. "Brother Zheng, there are only 3 pills left in it. Daiyu Zhang and I are not seriously injured, so there is no need to waste the pill." Hong Ming passed the pill, and Zhang Daiyu was slightly surprised and said, "Friend Hong Daiyu, don't have to be so polite. This pill was made by accidental collection of elixir recipes. It has an excellent effect on healing physical injuries, and at the same time it can increase physical strength. You and Zhang Daiyu might as well take 2 pills. 2 guards are needed to escort." The monk surnamed Zheng said sincerely. "If that's the case, Li is not welcome." Daiyu Li laughed, took the medicine bottle, and swallowed 2 more pills by himself. After the pill was run, Daiyu Li's injury really healed a lot, and his face showed joy. But Li Daiyu didn't swallow it alone, so he gave the medicine to Zhang Enziu and He Enziu. Only Hong Ming shook his head and refused. "I am practicing Gui Xi Gong, who is good at healing injuries. My injury is already mild. There is no serious problem, so I won't waste the medicine." Li Daiyu was a little strange, and he didn't force it. On the contrary, when the female Xiu surnamed Zhang saw this, she quietly put away the pill that she was going to take, and replaced it with the healing pill she was carrying. When the monk surnamed Zhang turned around, his face showed a sullen look. Fellow Daoist Wei was dead. The storage bag was naturally left behind and was divided equally by 5 people. As a result, one person had more than 400 spiritual stones, but this time, none of the 5 people's faces were happy. More than half an hour later, Fellow Daoist Zheng set up a cyan flying magic weapon. Everyone, it shouldn't be too late, everyone, let's set off early. The sister surnamed He also woke up. After changing her clothes, her complexion improved a lot, and she flew on the flying magic weapon first. Hongming, Zhang Enziu, and Li Daiyu also followed closely. 5 people got on the flying magic weapon. Zhang Daiyu sat in the center, input spiritual power into the flying magic weapon, and controlled the flying magic weapon to fly towards Dongluo Island. This time, all 5 of them were injured and rushed, so Zhang Daiyu urged his speed to the extreme. Along the way, he even took 4 pills to restore spiritual power. After 3 days, the flying magic weapon finally reached Dongluo Island. Everyone is tired this time, go back and have a rest. As for the exchange meeting, it will be half a month later. Fellow Daoist Zheng spoke, unable to conceal his fatigue. The others nodded. Hongming also turned around and prepared to leave, but at this time, the sister surnamed Zhang said, "Friend Hong Dao, there is something in the next, I wonder if Fang is not convenient to travel with you." The other 3 people looked at Hongming and Zhang Enziu, with a smile on their faces. This smile made the female Xiu Zhang's face flushed. "In that case, let's get together." Hongming hesitated, but did not refuse. The 2 left first, and first came to Zhang Enziu's cave. Compared with Hongming's, Zhang Enziu's cave was much larger, and there were 4 defensive formations. Even in the late stage of Qi training, it might be short. Time can't break. Opened the formation, and the 2 sat down. Zhang Enziu took a pill exuding a strong medicinal fragrance from her arms and placed it on the wooden plate. Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com. Friend Hong Daiyu, is there a problem with the pill given by Daiyu Zheng? Zhang Enziu asked directly. Why does fellow Daoist think so? The pill that Zheng Dao friendly kindly gives, regardless of remuneration, the idea of Daiyu Zhang is very chilling. Hongming said calmly. Zhang Enziu showed a smile on her face and said, Hong Daiyu is a cautious person by nature. If there is nothing to notice, how could he endure his injuries without taking Zheng Daiyu's medicine? Hongming did not say a word, but looked at Zhang Enziu. Although the 2 of them had a good chat along the way, Zhang Enziu took care of Hongming, but Hongming didn't mean to tell the truth. The atmosphere calmed down instantly. Neither of them spoke, reminiscing about the past, and Zhang Enziu asked, what does Hong Daiyu want? 1 defensive formation, 1 gathering spirit formation, and 1 trapping formation. Hongming said. Friend Hong Dao, you are the lion's big mouth. Zhang Enziu's face was a little gloomy. Hongming shook his head and said, Friend Zhang, what I know is worth a lot more than these 3 formations. After all, the cost of making these 3 formations is probably less than 100 spirit stones. Right. It is good. Nv Xiu Zhang gritted her teeth, took out 3 formation plates from her arms, and handed them over. Hongming took the array and looked at it, and said, this medicine pill contains a trace of blood energy. I don't know if there is a problem, but it is best not to take it. Also, Daoist Zheng is not as simple as it seems. In the late stage of Qi training, the monk was killed by Daoist Zheng before he died. And said that fellow Zheng Daoist practiced magic skills.